In the vast, sun-scorched plains of the American Southwest, where the red earth stretched endlessly under a relentless blue sky, lived the man known far and wide as the Giant Apache. His name was Kale, a towering figure standing over 7 feet tall, with muscles forged from years of wrestling the wild winds and taming untamed horses. Descended from the fierce Apache warriors of old, Kale had inherited not just their unyielding spirit but also a height that made him a legend among the settlers and natives alike. He lived alone on a sprawling ranch, his days filled with a solitary rhythm of herding cattle, mending fences, and gazing at the distant mountains that whispered secrets of his ancestors. The barn, a weathered structure of rough-hewn timber and rusted nails, stood as the heart of his domain, housing hay bales, tools, and the occasional stray animal seeking shelter from the night. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Kale trudged toward the barn after a long day in the fields. His boots kicked up dust clouds that danced in the fading light, and his shadow stretched long like a guardian spirit. Pushing open the creaky door, he expected the usual musty scent of hay and leather, but instead, his keen eyes caught a glimpse of something unusual amid the shadows. There, nestled in a bed of soft straw, lay a woman, her form curled delicately as if she had sought refuge from the world's harshness. Her hair cascaded like a river of midnight silk, and her dress, though travel-worn, spoke of distant lands and desperate hopes. She was a mail-order bride, one of those souls who answered advertisements in Lonely Hearts columns, seeking love and stability in the untamed West. Kale's heart, usually as steady as the ancient rocks, skipped a beat. Who was she? How had she come to his barn? Questions swirled in his mind like a desert whirlwind. He approached slowly, his massive frame moving with surprising gentleness, careful not to startle her. As he knelt beside her, the moonlight filtering through cracks in the roof illuminated her peaceful face, revealing freckles like stars on her skin. She stirred slightly, her eyelids fluttering, but remained in slumber's embrace. Kale, overcome with a mix of curiosity and protectiveness, leaned closer. His voice, deep and resonant like thunder rolling over the plains, softened to a whisper. "From the stars you must have fallen," he murmured, his words carrying the weight of wonder and the beginning of an unexpected bond. The night air seemed to hold its breath, as if the universe itself paused to witness this serendipitous encounter. Kale watched over her through the hours, his mind racing with possibilities. Had she been abandoned by a deceitful suitor, or was fate playing a hand in bringing her to his doorstep? As dawn's first light crept in, painting the barn in golden tones, the woman awoke, her eyes meeting his with a startle that quickly melted into intrigue. Thus began a tale woven from the threads of solitude and serendipity, where a giant's heart opened to the fragile beauty of love found in the most unlikely place. The woman, whose name was Alara, hailed from the bustling streets of Boston, a world away from the rugged expanse of Kale's ranch. She had answered an advertisement placed by a man seeking a wife to share his life on the frontier, but upon arrival at the nearby town, she discovered the cruel twist of fate. Her intended groom had perished in a mining accident just days before. Left stranded with little money and no family to turn to, Alara had wandered the dusty roads, her carpetbag heavy with dashed dreams. Exhaustion had led her to seek shelter in the first barn she found, Kale's, where sleep claimed her swiftly. Now, facing the giant before her, she felt a strange calm wash over her. Kale, with his piercing dark eyes and braided hair adorned with eagle feathers, extended a hand as large as a bear's paw to help her up. "No harm will come to you here," he assured her, his voice a soothing rumble. Alara, though initially wary, sensed the sincerity in his gaze. Over a simple breakfast of cornbread and fresh milk in his modest cabin, she shared her story, her words tumbling out like a pent-up river. Kale listened intently, his massive form seated on a sturdy chair that creaked under his weight. He spoke little of himself at first, but as the morning wore on, he revealed snippets of his life. Orphaned young, raised by his Apache grandmother who taught him the ways of the land and the stars, the ranch was his inheritance. a piece of earth where he communed with nature's spirits. Elara, captivated by his tales, felt the stirrings of admiration. As days turned into weeks, she stayed on, helping with chores that lightened Cale's load. She mended clothes with nimble fingers, cooked meals infused with eastern spices that delighted his palate, and in return, he taught her to ride horses, track animals, and read the weather in the clouds. Their conversations by the firelight deepened, bridging the gap between their worlds. One evening, as they watched a thunderstorm brew on the horizon, Cale whispered again, continuing from that first night, "From the storms we learn strength." Elara smiled, her hand brushing his, igniting a spark that promised more than mere companionship. Yet, shadows loomed. Rumors in town spoke of land grabbers eyeing Cale's ranch, and Elara's past held secrets that could unravel their budding connection. Challenges arose, testing their resolve, but in each trial, they found solace in one another. Cale's protective nature shielded her from prying eyes, while Elara's wit navigated social intricacies he shunned. Together, they planted a garden, symbolizing new beginnings, where flowers bloomed amidst the arid soil, mirroring the blossoming of their affection. Nights in the barn, now a place of fond memory, became spots for stargazing, where Cale shared Apache legends, and Elara recited poetry from her books. Their bond grew unbreakable, forged in the fire of shared hardships and whispered promises. As seasons shifted, the ranch transformed under their joint care, blooming with life that echoed their growing love. Cale, once a solitary giant, found joy in Elara's laughter echoing across the fields, her presence turning his home into a haven. She, in turn, discovered freedom in the open spaces, shedding the constraints of city life like an old skin. But tranquility was fleeting. Word spread of Elara's arrival, drawing curious visitors and unwelcome suitors from town. One such man, a slick-talking rancher named Harlan, claimed prior acquaintance with her through the mail-order agency, insisting she was meant for him. Harlan's jealousy festered, leading to sabotage, fences cut, cattle scattered, and whispers of theft aimed at Cale. The giant Apache, sensing the threat, heightened his vigilance, patrolling the lands with rifle in hand. Elara, torn between fear and determination, stood by him, her resolve steeling like the mountains. In a confrontation under the noon sun, Harlan confronted them at the barn, his posse backing him. "She's not yours, freak," he snarled, but Cale's imposing stature and calm demeanor unnerved them. With a whisper to Elara, "From courage comes victory," he disarmed the situation verbally, revealing Harlan's deceit through evidence Elara had gathered from letters. The intruders retreated, but the incident deepened their trust. Adventures followed. A journey to sacred Apache grounds where Cale introduced Elara to his heritage, dancing under the full moon in rituals that bound their souls. She learned to weave baskets and interpret dreams, while he embraced her customs, celebrating holidays with feasts. Challenges persisted. A drought parched the land, forcing them to dig wells and ration water, their teamwork a testament to unity. In quiet moments, Cale's whispers evolved into declarations. "From your eyes, I see my future." Elara responded in kind, her heart fully his. Community acceptance grew as they hosted gatherings, bridging divides between settlers and natives. Cale's barn, once a solitary refuge, became a symbol of their union, hosting neighbors for stories and songs. Yet, a greater test loomed. Elara's family from the east arrived unexpectedly, seeking to reclaim her. Prejudiced against Cale's background, they demanded her return. In the barn where it all began, amid heated arguments, Cale whispered, "From love, we defy all." Elara chose him, her decision a bold stand that silenced doubters. Their life flourished, with children on the horizon, promises of a legacy blending cultures. Years passed like the swift flight of eagles over the canyons, and Cale and Elara's story became legend in the Southwest. The giant Apache, no longer alone, built expansions to the ranch, including a cozy addition to the cabin for their growing family. Elara bore 2 children, a son with Cale's height and her spirit, and a daughter with her mother's grace and father's wisdom. The barn, renovated into a play area, echoed with youthful giggles, a far cry from its once silent vigil. But peace was interrupted by external forces. Railroad barons eyed the land for expansion, offering buyouts that tempted many but not Kale. He saw the iron horses as invaders, threatening the Sacred Earth. Alara, with her eastern insight, negotiated shrewdly, rallying neighbors against the encroachment. In strategy sessions by lantern light, Kale whispered, "From unity, we stand tall." Their alliance thwarted the plans, preserving the wilderness. Personal growth marked their journey. Kale learned to read from Alara's books, expanding his world beyond oral traditions, while she mastered herbal medicine from Apache lore. Travels took them to cities, where Kale's presence drew awe, and Alara reconnected with kin on her terms. Back home, festivals celebrated their blended heritage, with dances fusing powwow rhythms and waltzes. Adversities like illnesses tested them, but mutual care healed wounds. Kale's whispers became family mantras, guiding their offspring. As elders, they reflected on that fateful night, sharing the tale with grandchildren in the barn. From whispers begin epics, Kale would say, his voice still strong. Alara's eyes sparkled, adding to verses. Their love, enduring as the desert rocks, inspired all who heard. The ranch thrived, a beacon of harmony in a divided land. In the twilight of their lives, Kale and Alara often sat on the porch, watching sunsets paint the sky, reminiscing about adventures that shaped them. The giant Apache, his hair now silvered like mountain snow, held Alara's hand, frail but warm. Their children, grown and scattered, returned often with families, filling the ranch with life. The barn stood as a monument, its walls etched with memories. One stormy night, reminiscent of early days, they sought shelter there, lightning illuminating faces lined with wisdom. Kale whispered, "From tempests, we found calm." Alara nodded, her smile eternal. Legacy extended beyond family. Kale mentored young natives, teaching survival skills, while Alara wrote memoirs that bridged cultures. Recognition came, awards for conservation, stories in newspapers. Challenges lingered. Age brought ailments, but they faced them together, herbs and doctors aiding. Grandchildren learned whispers as life lessons. As Kale's strength waned, Alara's care sustained him. In final moments, surrounded by loved ones in the barn, he whispered, "From this life, to the stars." His passing left a void, but Alara carried on, honoring his spirit until joining him. Their tale, whispered through generations, endures. The legacy of Kale and Alara rippled through time, inspiring tales told around campfires and in classrooms. The ranch became a heritage site, preserved by descendants who upheld blended traditions. The barn, now a museum, housed artifacts, letters, feathers, books symbolizing their union. Visitors marveled at the giant's tools and Alara's writings. Stories evolved, with books and films capturing their essence. Whispers became proverbs in local lore. From barns bloom loves. Family reunions echoed with songs and dances, honoring ancestors. Modern challenges like urbanization threatened, but resolve protected the land. Alara's memoirs, published posthumously, touched hearts globally, promoting unity. Kale's whispers lived on, guiding new generations through life's storms. Centuries later, in a world transformed by technology, the story of the giant Apache and his mail-order bride persisted as a timeless fable. Descendants, scattered across continents, traced roots to that barn encounter. Virtual tours allowed global access to the site, where holograms recreated whispers. Scholars analyzed their impact on cultural fusion, crediting them with early bridges between worlds. Annual festivals drew crowds, reenacting the discovery with actors towering like Kale. Whispers evolved into digital mantras, shared on networks. Amid global divides, their message of love from unlikely places resonated, fostering hope. The barn, eternally standing, whispered to all who listened. From history, wisdom flows. In the endless cycle of stories, Kale and Alara's whisper echoes eternally, a beacon for souls seeking connection. Their barn, a portal to the past, invites reflection on fate's twists. Whispers, once private, now universal truths. From the unexpected, greatest joys arise. Their love, defying odds, reminds us that in vast plains or crowded cities, bonds form in whispers, enduring forever.